Hey, and welcome back to the continuation of our top 5 list. This time we're switching over to fantasy titles. Fantasy. What's your guys' secret fantasy?
Like which part of the Velcro do I like more? Or
What the hell are you talking about?
Like, do you like the prickly side of Velcro or the other side, Joel?
I like the prickly side.
Okay.
I don't need this soft in my life. Oh, now I gotta bleep myself. Great. Thanks a lot, Aaron.
Well, you're welcome, Joel.
Sarah,
what about you? What side of the Velcro do you like better?
The hooks.
Oh, okay.
See, that's the pokey side.
All right.
87 to 96 fantasy movies. Last time we did this, we actually did a combination of fantasy and horror, but we had so many to choose from this time. We're probably going to do horror as a separate list eventually.
Oh.
But
No, don't worry about it.
Do you have horror on your list?
No.
I told you. It was separated.
On IMDb, it's as a fantasy.
No, okay, we need to talk about this. Aaron has a problem. He cannot see a movie as more than one genre.
IMDb says it's a fantasy movie, Joel.
It's like Star Wars. Star Wars is a science fiction movie. Well,
no, it is fantasy elements.
An adventure.
I can see
it's
that.
Fantasy. It's got that kind of. Technically, it's a war movie. Why not? If that's a genre at all, I don't know.
Well, tonight it's pretty pivotal on what some may consider a horror movie.
Nice.
I consider also a fantasy.
No, I mean, that's the thing. They can exist in multiple genres. Otherwise, the podcast doesn't exist.
Yeah, fair enough.
All right, let's go in reverse order this time. Aaron, then me, and then Sarah. What do you say?
Sounds good.
All right.
Number 5.
My number 5 on my list, Joel, is a Terry Gilliam film, Adventures of Baron Munchausen.
Grandeur. I'm back! Action. Bravery. Honor.
Have you any famous last words?
Not yet.
Not yet. Is that famous?
Romance.
Awesome.
Nice.
I haven't seen it.
You've never seen?
No.
Oh, man. Oh, you're in for a treat. This movie's amazing. It's, without giving too much away, it's a pretty epically amazing tale of, it's kind of like, no, I don't know. Like part of me, I want to divulge, but now I want to choose it as a choice for the podcast.
Yeah, just give us a little bit.
Okay.
Give us a taste.
Okay. Have you ever seen The Fall?
Yes.
Okay. I would say Baron Munchausen is actually a very similar film, but instead of being like a story being told to a child, like you're kind of getting the life of Baron Munchausen is very similar to the tale being told in The Fall. Now, it's a little bit different, obviously, but I feel that the grandeur of it is very similar to the tale being told.
It's
Cool.
visually sumptuous.
Oh, it's amazing. There's so much great practical effects. It's definitely. I'm surprised you haven't seen it yet.
Well, I tend not to watch movies unless they're for podcast purposes. So,
Oh, wow,
yeah, that's just the rule.
man.
That's why I've only seen 150 whatever movies we've got. That's it.
That's it. That's
Why my list only consists of movies we've seen for the podcast.
fair enough, Joel.
That's not true.
If I could add anything else to this description for this movie, I would say that I just love how absurd it is, and it makes me happy thinking about it, and that's why it's number 5 on my fantasy list.
That's cool.
Isn't Uma Thurman in it?
She is in it, the movie. Her appearance replicates a very grand painting. It's really
Okay.
exciting.
Cool. Yeah, I think I've seen part of it. I don't know if I've seen it in its entirety before.
There's some really cool reenactment of paintings, but in movie form. I'm sorry, my brain's melted.
No, that's cool. Sorry, I was afraid that.
Oh, you're good. No worries.
Who else is in it? Like, who are the male characters?
Okay. Yeah. Good question. Let's take a look here to see.
Is it Graham Chapman?
Maybe. Let's see here. We got I believe John Neville is the actor who plays Baron Munchausen.
Okay.
Eric Idle has a part in the film. Uma Thurman. Oh yeah, there's an amazing Robin Williams scene, which is pretty ridiculous. I forgot. Can't believe I almost forgot about that.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's cool. You know who John Neville is? I don't really know him from anything else, but it says in The Fifth Element, you know how in the beginning of the movie when they see the planetoid, there's that one general that's like on the ship and he's like, launch the probe and stuff like that. That's him.
Mm.
Nice.
Yeah. That's cool.
He's amazing in this movie. And it's kind of one of those things where it's like, the whole time I'm kind of thinking, where else have I seen him from? And I can't really come up with anything.
The X-Files.
He's one of the Illuminati, right?
He's the well-manicured man, I think is what it says he is.
Oh, the well-manicured Illuminati.
I don't even know what that means.
I think he's the guy who just like... He's not Deep Throat, right?
No, he's not.
Okay. Oh, no, I'm sorry. He's probably just one of those smug white dudes that sits in the room being smug. Yeah.
He's another smoking man.
Yep.
He's one of those guys.
Yeah.
I think you're right. All right.
Yeah.
All right. My number 5 is a movie we have covered for the podcast, starring Bill Murray and some other people, Andy McDowell, and that one guy, Stephen Tobolowsky. It's Groundhog Day from 1993.
I might know what movie you're talking about.
Do you have that on your list?
Yes, I do.
Honorable mention?
It's honorable for me.
Yeah. So I'll just quickly say, like, this seems like it's pretty low on my top 5 list, especially for a movie that I have to watch. Like, I have to watch at least once a year. But this time period has such good fantasy choices that, like, I just had to put it on there. Just because I love it. But we'll talk about it later when it comes up on your list.
Yeah, it's a great movie. I agree. Number 5 for me was Edward Scissorhands.
Nice.
It's in my honorable mention.
Avon calling. Ooh, this is some huge house, isn't it? Hello? Why are you hiding back there? You don't have to hide from me. I'm as harmless as cherry pie. Those are your hands. Those are your hands. I think you should just come home with me.
Is it higher on your guys' list? Or?
That one is one of my honorable mentions as well.
Okay. Edward Scissorhands. This was one of my favorite movies as a teenager. I think maybe I didn't see it until I was like 12 or 13. I don't know. But I really liked the like kind of weird setting that it was in, and I liked the magical like fantasy elements. It seemed like just such a weird idea. I think that was why I liked it so much. I was like, this is a really weird idea. And I liked that Johnny Depp's character didn't really talk that much and was really like timid. And I liked, it's just crazy. It's a crazy idea to have a character that has scissors for hands. Over the years, I know I've heard like some Tim Burton information and background about this idea and this story, but I can't remember it all right now. I just know that I really liked Winona Ryder in it, and I really liked Johnny Depp in it, and of course Vincent Price. And I like the idea that when the snow the snow is happening and she's an old lady and she's basically saying like this is this alternative explanation for why snow could be happening. And yeah, I just think it's magical. And I even like some of the bad things that happen in the movie, even though they make you kind of uncomfortable. Like, when he ends up getting into the fight with the boyfriend or whoever he is. Yeah. Anyway, I just think that it's a pretty awesome fantasy movie. And I feel like there were so many good fantasy movies from this time period that I had like a ton that I wrote down. But yeah, this makes number 5.
Yeah, I think Diane Wiest, you know, is the lady who finds him in the beginning. She's really good in it too. I love the color contrast between his like dark gothic world and then ending up in suburbia and like the model houses all up the lane, everybody leaving the house for work in the morning at the same time, and like his contrast and like I guess that's I don't know, it's kind of like the Munsters, like, oh, there's a kooky family hanging out in the real world.
Yeah.
Like that. But yeah, the weird like violence thing, like with him, like obviously he's a man with huge blades and scissors on his hands, so something is possibly going to go wrong. And it was like when I think of like the weird things happening in it, like that part where Vincent Price like presents him with the hands that he's eventually going to give him, but like dies before he can. You see the scissors like going through them.
Yeah.
That was the most disturbing part for me when I was younger.
Yeah, it's really dark.
It is dark and kind of gothy. That's another thing I was noticing about the fantasy from this grouping is that there's a whole lot of goth and there's a whole lot of like, golf. I don't know. It's just, I think that people were using their imagination to come up with some new ideas that seemed really cool.
For sure.
I'm a big fan of the hairstyles in this movie. Mm-hmm. Edward Scissorhands, he's a good barber.
Yeah, he's good at the topiaries and them doggies.
Oh yeah, I was a big fan of his bush sculptures too. Mm-hmm. It's true.
Yeah, that was fun. That part.
You tell me what to call it, Joel.
No,
you tell me.
You're fine. Don't even worry.
No, you tell me.
There was some.
Oh, that thing.
I think there was some trivia that I was interested in mentioning when I did the research. Hang on just a second. Edward only says 169 words in the whole movie.
Whoa.
Yeah, this was what I thought. Winona Ryder was going to play in Godfather Part 3, but Johnny Depp convinced her to drop out and do Edward Scissorhands instead. And, he based the weird little, suburban town on Burbank.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's kind of weird. I don't think of Burbank. Yeah, the way that I mean, that must be a specific area of Burbank.
Yeah, it's like it's like a Stepford environment, like a cookie cutter. What's the word I'm looking for? It's like a tract housing planned community that looks exactly the same everywhere.
Yeah. It's just like the definition of suburbia.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's cool. So, Aaron, number 4.
Oh. Well, yeah. Number 4 for me is a little film from 1987 called Harry and the Hendersons.
You gotta be kidding me.
For ages, he is hidden in the forest, eluded hunters, baffled scientists, and remained a mystery until the Hendersons bumped into him.
What is it?
It's a major discovery. We have to take it home.
Really?
You gotta be kidding.
That's awesome!
I didn't see that coming.
Really?
No, me neither! I'm like surprised right now.
Okay.
But I'm excited.
Well, the way that Joel's shaking his head right now, I apparently am being judged.
I'm not judging you.
I'm not
think
judging you.
it's awesome,
I'm
but
just
I
shaking
want
my
to
head in
talk
disbelief.
about why.
Yeah, cool. All right. Well, this I have to feel is my my first experience with Bigfoot.
Oh, nice.
Was seeing this movie.
I thought you said you Bigfoot like spooned you one time when you were camping.
Well,
as a Boy Scout.
that was different, Joel. It's
okay.
That's a different tale for another time.
There was no photographic proof of that.
Yeah.
Not that Aaron's seen.
Certainly no photographs taken. Yeah, Harry and the Hendersons. I like this movie because it's insane. This whole movie is just insane, and it makes me happy. Like, even right now, just thinking about it, I'm smiling.
That's awesome.
I mean, my love for it isn't very deep. This is a pretty shallow pond, but the reason why I love this movie is the creature effects of the Bigfoot of Harry is pretty fun. I like the idea of him trying to fit in an Oldsmobile wagon, but like his head just forming a small bump on the top of the car. And and I think I just really like the male lead just saying the name Harry.
John
Lithgow,
Yeah.
aka Monkey Boy from
AKA Trinity. No,
Yeah,
I'm just kidding.
yeah. Lithgow's amazing in this movie, and I honestly am probably gonna have to watch it and like record every time he says Harry and just do a whole YouTube track of
Yeah.
the different ways he can say that. This is pretty
We
fun.
don't want you anymore.
We don't want you anymore. Yeah. Again, it's kind of a bit of a shallow pond here, but I love it, and it makes me happy right now just thinking about it.
I'm glad that it makes you happy. I think that's cool. It's not one of my tops, but
Yeah, it's not even on my list. Yeah,
but I mean sometimes.
my list
Yeah.
is too good for that. No,
Oh no! I knew I was going to be judged.
No, I'm
Snob.
joking. I'm joking.
It's all right.
I think that Harry and the Hendersons is weird, like because like
I'm a weird dude, Joel. Come on, man.
No, I'm not talking
I
about.
like Bigfoot, so
I'm not
sue
talking-
me.
I'm not talking about your choice of Harry and the Henderson. I'm talking about the concept and the way that it grew into something, because there was like a TV show,
Okay.
Harry and the Henderson's TV show, which is like, well, okay.
I never seen the show, Joel.
Oh, were you aware there was a TV show?
No, this is the first time you mentioned it to me, or the first time it's been made aware to me.
Well, not only that, but like if you went to Universal Studios during
Mhm.
the time period, they like took you onto like one of the, during the tour, one of the soundstage, and there was somebody who was dressed as Harry from Harry.
No,
Come out and be like, "Oh, Harry, what are you doing
they
here?"
paid someone to dress up like John Lithgow.
No, not John.
Oh.
Why would they dress like John Lithgow?
I
I'm
don't
talking
know.
about the.
Oh, but they dress up as a Bigfoot.
I'm
Is what
talking
you're
about the
saying.
skunk ape.
Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah,
they
the
did.
skunk ape. Yes. Yes.
And like, I guess that's probably just like a solely Southern California thing, but it was a movie about a family who finds a Bigfoot.
Yep. I love
and
it.
adopts him for a little bit of time.
Mm-hmm. I'm about it,
It
Joel.
works. I mean,
I'm a,
I'm about it. I'm all about this
I have
movie.
the novelization over here somewhere.
oh my gosh.
I'm not judging you. I was just like, I just didn't expect that to come out.
Oh, sorry.
No, I
it's
think
cool.
that's great because we all have a different opinion about what we think were the best. So
Yeah.
it's cool.
No, we should watch it again. We should
Yeah.
watch it for the podcast.
Cool. I'm down.
That's your next pick.
That's my number
I
4.
decided for you.
Oh, thank you, Joel, for choosing for me.
You're welcome. My number 4 is a Japanese movie,
Mm-hmm.
animation.
Japanimation.
Yes, you might call it Japanimation.
I have an idea of what it is.
Akira.
It stars 2 little girls and their father who move into a house in the country. And as soon as they do, they start to encounter a whole bunch of little weird spirits. Well, not little. Little's the wrong word, because there's one gigantic spirit that is irresistible. It's called My Neighbor Totoro.
Oh,
From 1988.
snap.
今日はとてもすごいニュースがあるんです。メイがお化けのトトロに出会いました。私は自分も会えたらいいなと思っています。
Is that on your list?
No, actually, but I love that movie.
Yeah,
It's in
Totoro's
my
awesome,
honorable
dude.
mentions.
Also, honorable mention for me.
The movie's irresistible. Like you can't. Even as an adult, watching that movie is so charming, and like, of course, it's a. What is the name of the guy who?
Miyazaki.
It's a Miyazaki movie, so of course it's beautiful, and even the human characters, you can't help but be like fall in love with their little story.
Oh, no,
going
sorry.
on.
That's
What?
another movie.
Tombo?
Don't worry about it. Tombo's the love interest in the witch one. Which delivery girl movie?
Kiki.
Which is which?
Kiki.
There's multiple which ones.
Oh, which?
Howl's Moving Castle.
Oh, snap.
Castle in the Sky.
Castle in the Sky's got a witch in it.
Yes. Anyway,
I guess
I'm trying to talk about My Neighbor Totoro, Aaron.
Does that have Princess Mononoke in it?
Shut up. So, I mean, like, this was a movie that me and my younger sister used to watch. We had a VHS copy of it. And I don't even know where it came from. It was just probably something they saw when they were, at whatever store and picked it up. And it became a favorite of ours. And it was completely different than any Disney, any Fox animated, any of that other stuff like that.
Oh, yeah.
It's just, I don't know. I can't really go into it. What do you have to say about it?
I seriously love that movie, and I had never seen it before until a few years ago. I had wanted to see it, and a couple of friends that I had were really into it, and they didn't have like a physical copy of it or something. So only a few years ago, I finally sat down and watched it with Joel because he told me how great it was. And I had no concept of what this movie was going to be about before I watched it. I had heard of it, but there was no possible way I could have imagined what it's like. And I wish I had seen it as a kid because there is something so inspiring and so, like you were saying, charming and creative and peaceful. Like there's moments of frustration in the movie, but there's moments of peace, and like I consider it a near perfect movie. Like I can't think of a flaw. And I watched it just before I started nannying my nephew who was 2 years old at the time, and I showed it to him and he just fell in love with it. I can understand why kids like it so much. And, we would go for a walk and see a giant tree and he would say, "Is that Totoro's tree?" And it's so cute.
That's super cute.
Captures the imagination of kids, and kind of, it's reassuring. It's reassuring. The challenges in the story don't have anything to do with like your usual like kids movie. It's more based in reality, but also at the same time fantasy. And I love it. So thanks for showing it to me.
Yeah, I like how it's this tale told from the perspective of these two children, and it kind of shows them like having to grow up in a short-term way. Like we're not watching them like literally age, over the years or anything like that. I say the story probably takes place over like a month or two, like from them moving to this place and then getting used to living there and stuff like that. But like it almost feels conflictless. Like they create a conflict, but it's like the stress of them being children who, like their mother is quote unquote sick, and they don't really go into what that means in the movie, but it like adds this level of stress and frustration that the children have to go through, and they can't express in a way other than what a child would be able to express it in. And like the magic that they see all around them, it's like never indicated whether or not the adults are aware of it, but the adults are never discouraging, which I find to be just so lovely. Like the way the father communicates with his daughters.
The father is awesome in this movie. He is so cool and nice and reassuring and playful with them. And I mean, some people may have issue with family bath time.
It's a cultural thing.
When you have two little kids and no mom is there, I don't know.
Well, you gotta do what you gotta do, you know?
Yeah.
I mean, this is in Japan. It's a big family bathtub, you know? Like, in the bigger cities, like, they would have the bathhouses.
Public bathhouses
right?
are part of their culture.
Exactly.
Yeah. But I think that he's intelligent, but also playful with them. And that's what I love about Miyazaki movies. They never come down on the girls. Like, they expect them to be something because they're female. I mean, the girls are shown to be strong and they can overcome challenges. And sometimes they're on their own, you know, in his stories. And this, you do see a lot of time with it just the two girls or just one or the other of them. And there isn't a parent around. And, you know, the world is really magical for them, and they're able to hold on to things that make them feel good to get through the rough stuff, and I think that's really awesome.
If there was a separate list we could make of like top 5 Miyazaki characters, Cat Bus is one of them for me. That creature is just amazing. From concept just all the way down to just the complete aesthetic of what Cat Bus is. It just makes me so happy to think about someone sitting there and being like, yeah, this is what I'm making today. It just makes me so happy.
Yeah, and that alone could be something that would be like, oh, that's terrifying. It's a giant bus, but like in the movie, it's like
it's amazing.
They're so friendly.
There are things that happen in the movie that would be considered scary by Western standards if kids hadn't ever seen anything like that. Like the way Totoro yells sometimes, or the way the cat bus is grinning. It's like, that's not something that we've seen as like a normal, happy thing. It's always like creepy if somebody's smiling that big, or I don't know, but I just really, the whole thing is so good. I think I read a review of it once that said something like, you know, there's no 3 acts, there's no conflict, there's no this, but it's like the perfect movie. Dissecting it,
It really relies on that innocence of the children, though, because I think if it had been any other age group, like I feel like, or you know, if the kids maybe had been older or something, I feel that the story may have gone a different way. I don't know. Maybe I'm thinking too much into it.
No,
but like maybe they would have been frightened of the creature, more frightened,
been more jaded, or something else.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe I'm wrong in that. I don't know.
No. I think that's a good call. You want to do your number 4?
Oh, sure. Is it my turn?
No, I was talking to Thomas.
Sorry, I forgot that I was next. My number 4 is actually a movie that I doubt you guys have on your lists. The Butcher's Wife.
Demi Moore is Marina, a girl who dreamed she was about to meet the love of her life. But it was Leo Lemke who washed up on her beach and took her to a romantic island far, far away.
Leo! Hey, Doc! Meet Marina!
I have much of these.
Actually,
not on my list.
I don't know what that movie is.
It is a movie where a woman meets this man that she's seen in her dreams, and they get married, and he's a butcher, and they come back to live in the city where he lives. She's a clairvoyant, basically.
Oh.
And she's like a magical... there's like something like kind of quirky about her.
Huh.
And it's Demi Moore who plays her in the movie. And a bunch of things happen in it that would be considered kind of like, I don't know, witch-like or something. But I remember seeing this when I was younger and really enjoying it. It kind of seemed interesting to me that they could put something in reality, like in a city environment where, you know, people are getting some meat at the meat market, but yet there's this character that's almost like a mystic or something. I don't know. But the movie has Jeff Daniels in it. And what happens is, I mean, not to spoil the movie, maybe I shouldn't tell you guys exactly what happens. Maybe we should do it for the podcast.
Sure.
Anyway, it's a I don't remember every detail of it, but I remember what happens in it, and I think it's kind of just a little odd the way Groundhog Day or something is. They were using the idea of something just being a little bit different, but in the normal world. Yeah. And I liked it. I used to watch it with my aunt sometimes. And it was kind of about fate, too. It was kind of about fate and trying to understand your own feelings, but also your intuition.
Oh, cool.
Anyway. Kind of like a prelude to a kiss or something. I don't know. Maybe. I mean, that movie is different, but yeah.
Yeah, that movie's disturbing.
Hey, cutie.
All right. Number 3.
Number 3.
Harry and the Hendersons Part 2.
No, continuing on surprising my special guest hosts.
That's me.
That's right. Never met you guys before.
Special co-host.
Special, thank you. Apparently, English language is failing me.
It's
or I'm
late.
failing
Yeah.
English. I've chosen the movie Toys.
Nice.
I don't know about you, but that last trailer. I've seen it, you know, fast-cutting, big music. What about a different kind of trailer? I'm Robin Williams, here on the world's largest soundstage at 20th Century Fox. That's right. This entire wheat field is in one building. I'm here tonight to talk to you about an incredible movie. Toys.
Toys trailer.
Toys! There'll be a big letter...
Toys starring Robin Williams.
You got it, man.
LL Cool J.
Yes, sir.
Please tell me all about this.
This movie is just magical. This is a movie that pretty much everyone I think I've ever met has hated. And I actually never saw it as a kid, but I am a huge fan of this podcast called Nerdy Show. And one of the hosts for that, Cap, was a big fan of this film. And this was the first time I ever heard anybody say anything, you know, good about it. And so I watched it. I loved it. I love this movie, and unabashedly, like, I think it's a great movie. And all I'm saying is, I'm going to sit at a table with a meme writing on it that says, like, prove me wrong or something.
You're very susceptible to suggestion, Aaron.
Is that what's going on?
I don't think you should do that with the tape.
Oh, very well.
I honestly have never heard anyone say that they like the movies. So,
yeah.
Like I think We Hate Movies covered it.
They hated it.
I'm pretty sure.
It's in the name.
How Did This Get Made has covered it. So.
Oh, they hated it too.
Yeah.
So
I think it's just real fun. It's just so weird, guys. Like,
yeah.
I can't even explain properly.
I think the guy who did Men in Black, isn't it?
I think so.
Yeah, same.
Like the visuals are just so just amazing. I just have never seen anything quite like it. And I would hope that maybe we can watch it for our podcast sometime, and maybe I could convince you to.
No, that would be great. Yeah.
I feel like that movie, I have seen it, but I don't remember everything that happens in it. I just feel like there's kind of like a through the looking glass feel about it.
Yeah.
Like, you feel like you're in a different world. Like, I don't know if it's supposed to be this world. I don't remember if they really ground you in reality, but it's like, it's kind of like Charlie and the Chocolate Factory.
That's exactly what I was about to say.
Yeah, totally.
Like when you enter the toy factory, everything just kind of becomes like a different reality. Yeah,
and interactive,
but not for children.
Maybe.
From what I understand, there's some adult situations.
Oh my! Yeah, I guess so. I guess it's not for kids.
I mean, it's fine. Like, I'm not saying that as a negative thing.
Mm-hmm.
Say Charlie and the Chocolate Factory. Well, when you think about Charlie and the Chocolate Factory or Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory, there's some weird, like, adult-oriented stuff.
I don't think kids are supposed to go in that factory. That's what I'm getting out of this.
Oh no, they were meant to die.
Yeah. It's like a Jigsaw, right? From those movies. With Saw?
The Punisher.
Charlie and the Chocolate Factory and the Saw?
Oh, different Jigsaw. Mm-hmm. So toys.
Yeah, that's my number 3.
Mm. I really like Joan Cusack in anything, so it automatically gets points for that.
Okay, fair enough.
Number 3 for me is a movie about a young man who is thrust into destiny after a baby lands in the middle of his village.
Oh,
it's called Willow.
Oh, guess
1988.
What? Bingo.
It's on your list.
Of course it is.
Sarah, is it on your list?
No.
No, because you hate that movie.
I don't hate it.
You hate Kevin Pollak.
No.
Mine. It's one more notch up on me. But
that's cool. Yeah. I mean, Willow. Like, so many people were like, "Oh, I watched Willow. It doesn't hold up." And I'm like,
Excuse me?
Oh God, I can't watch it. I want to keep my good memories. And then we watched it for the podcast, and I was like, what the hell are they talking about? This movie's great. But we'll get to it when we come around to your thing. I gotta say, Willow, still a very good movie. And I kind of feel like watching it again right now.
Yeah, I'm there.
Number 3.
My number 3 is Batman.
Oh!
That may be higher up in my list.
Okay, well, I will briefly say that I think Michael Keaton is Batman. And
IRL.
He said, I'm Batman, and I believed it.
Yeah. Heck yeah, Sarah.
We guested on a podcast called the Batman 89.
Batman 89 minute.
Yeah.
Yep.
Minute by minute.
And those guys were really fun to talk to. And we kind of just gushed about how much we loved the 89 Batman on that. And yeah, there's some, not to get too into it, but basically I think that the cast was awesome. And I will never not be afraid that I'm going to get gunned down in an alley.
Yeah.
For the rest of my life.
Yeah.
That's just in general.
I try really hard not to wear any pearl necklace when I walk in an alleyway.
That's
for sure.
tempting fate.
I wondered why you stopped wearing that pearl necklace.
Well, I just needed to, Joel.
Mm.
Michael Keaton is awesome. And I'll leave it for the rest later.
I have some information that I learned recently that I can't wait to talk about.
Wait, is it the thing that I told you?
Yes. What are you talking about?
The
line that he said the wrong thing?
Oh. Go ahead.
Is that what you're talking about?
I was talking... No, never mind.
Okay, I'll let you reveal that, because I think it is the thing you were talking about.
Because we're going to talk about this movie a little bit more in a few minutes. I just wanted to say, me and my dad made the Batmobile model kit.
Whoa.
From this movie.
That's awesome.
When I was a kid.
I'll say this.
It was a good moment.
No, we're going to come back to it.
Oh, okay.
Okay, Aaron, number 2.
My number 2 is Willow.
Whoa. I
Willow.
didn't see that one coming.
From the creator of Star Wars, from the director of Cocoon, a world is awakening.
Why, with the strength of my great army, can you not find one little child?
It's a dangerous world.
That's why we need your help.
Your journey has just begun.
Willow.
Mad Montigan. Daikini baby.
So what do you like, Willow, Aaron?
I freaking love this movie, Joel. It's quotable. It's just a beautiful look into a fantasy world. That why I like it so much is I feel like I want to go there, hang out with some little folk, and just have a good time. Maybe learn some magic from a goat. Save the realm. Fight some pretty weird looking scary phallic monsters.
See, the things you're getting into here, those are the reasons why I don't want to go to that world. It seems pretty rough. Like, yeah, the village is idyllic until, like, you know, those crazy evil wolfhound things come in and start ripping little people apart.
Yeah.
And, like, yeah, they go on a long journey, but they have to go on a long journey away from their family to get, you know, this mission that they're just
that's
assigned.
like every quest. You gotta go away for a while.
Yeah, it is, but this is like an unusually violent world. Like, Mad Mardigan, like, being left to die in this cage and people just riding by and, like, yeah, and then, like, whatever those, like, that troll burst out into the two-headed, you know, dick monster. Yeah.
If you look at the concept art, it's literally just, yeah.
I think that this movie is one of the most, like, based in what I think fantasy worlds is. Like, for me, if I think fantasy, I think castle. I think, magic users. I think maybe creatures that don't exist, like dragons or, you know, some kind of, yeah, just different, clans of people and stuff. And so I guess I think I like Willow because it is an entertaining story and it definitely encapsulates a lot of what the idea of fantasy was, and it was like its own thing. At the time it came out, it was totally... I mean, you know, something like that was inspired by, like, Tolkien and stuff, but
yeah.
At the same time, it was its own story, and it wasn't, like, ripping it off in any way. So, yeah, as a kid, I didn't like it so much because I didn't like all the scary, gross parts. But as an adult, I still don't like some of the gross parts, but I definitely have more of an appreciation for it now.
I think, like, one of the reasons why it's so fascinating is because like, more than Lord of the Rings, more than freaking Game of Thrones or any of the other fantasy movies that take place in the same kind of, like, world, this one has this, like, feeling where it's like, magic is hard.
Yeah.
Like, you can't just be a wizard.
Nope.
Like, if you're doing spells, it's like what I imagined in the comic books, like using the Green Lantern ring is supposed to be. They always talk like, it's painful every time.
Takes
like,
great will.
Yeah, and like it's gross and like people die, and it's like painful looking, and you just have to watch. Just the scene where evil queen lady turns everybody into pigs.
Yes.
Like your skin crawls.
That was the most frightening moment in that movie for me as a kid.
It's like, that's what it would be like. It's not like, poof, all of a sudden they're pigs. It's like, no, she's evil. And this is evil magic.
Making them feel every excruciating moment.
It's crazy. Like, and that's just one of the things that, like, Ron Howard and George Lucas, like, obviously must have, whoever else worked on it must have thought through. Like, I don't want this just to be a basic, Like, oh, we're gonna click our heels together, Disney story. Like, no, these guys, they're going on a rough adventure. And by the time everything's done, the accomplishment is going to be like, yeah, we did this. Like, we've got the scars, literal scars from having gone through this thing.
Totally. Hey, Joel.
Yeah.
You want to breed?
Tempting, but no. Why is Aaron always asking me to breed, Sarah?
Because you're dressing in drag.
This is my cousin, Hilda. Ooh, Hilda.
Oh. I love Willow. I'm really glad we made this list so I could talk. Yeah, this is great.
All right, you okay?
Yeah, I'm doing great, man.
Just listener, watch Willow. You can listen to our podcast, but you should just watch it. All right, my number 2. We're on number 2, right?
This is number 2. Yeah.
Number 2 is Batman, 1989.
Oh.
Don't kill me, man! Don't kill me! Don't kill me, man!
I'm not going to kill you. I want you to do me a favor. I want you to tell all your friends about me.
What are you?
I'm Batman.
Yeah.
So we can talk about this. What I want to say is it was a huge phenomenon. Like, if you lived in that time period in '89, like, you could not go anywhere. And once again, a Southern California thing, because we live next to Six Flags Magic Mountain in Valencia. Like, Batman was just all over the place there. Like, speaking of the Batmobile, they had like a Batmobile, almost a life-size model of the Batmobile.
This movie is the reason why I collected comics.
Oh, man.
Really?
Yeah,
no
this
idea.
is the reason.
That's awesome.
I'm a little ashamed it didn't make my list.
Oh, it's okay.
It's okay.
There's so many. It was hard to...
As Joel's explaining, I have problems with genre, apparently.
It's like, this is an action superhero movie.
I'm genre blind, I guess.
It's okay. A lot of people suffer from that. And,
is there a pill I can take?
I want you to know that there is a place for people like you.
Thank you, Joel. What's it called?
It's called Letterboxd.
Oh, yeah. Please fund us, Letterboxd.
Letterboxd.com.
We talk about movies.
Side effects
You're a website.
Looking at your phone for too long. Not going to sleep because you're looking at your phone. Reading about movies you haven't seen and therefore spoiling them for yourself. Looking at your phone. I already said that.
Thank you, Letterboxd. For the amateur cinephile that I am, I appreciate your use.
Batman.
Well, I was going to say that the other day when we were getting ready to talk about fantasy movies, I was reading some trivia about Michael Keaton, and this is on my honorable mention list. I don't know if it'll be on anybody else's, but Beetlejuice, Tim Burton, and Michael Keaton were amazing for doing Beetlejuice and Batman.
Heck yeah.
And what I read, which blew my mind, was that Michael Keaton ad-libbed all of his lines in Beetlejuice. He basically created like what that character was from just like showing up, being like totally like in character for this thing, and then just whatever he said, like it just kind of went that way.
Awesome.
And I think that the actors were more surprised by it, that, you know, his co-stars were more. Anyway, Beetlejuice is awesome as well. It's on my honorable mentions.
Was there a lot of reshoots then for that, or like a lot of takes per scene? I could assume.
I don't know.
I don't even know.
I guess it depends.
I'll have to do some research.
Yeah.
Well, I just assumed that if he's coming up, if he's ad-libbing, you know, you got to give them other actors got to act real quick.
I was seriously amazed by that, and yeah, we talked about it a little bit.
Was that the same thing where you saw that he was supposed to say, "I am the knight"?
Yeah, and
that part where in the very beginning when he's saying that guy's like, "Who are you?" He was supposed to say, "I am the knight." Instead, he said, "I'm Batman."
And that became like the phrase known,
yeah,
like for this movie. But that's crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, I'm not trying to hog your time.
Oh, you're not hogging.
I think
This is one of your picks?
yeah.
You-
I mean,
yeah.
it's like I don't even know if Batman '89 is the best Batman movie. It is my personal favorite of all the Batmans,
I see what you're saying.
and like I
think it's the
throw
best.
no shade to any of the Chris Nolan stuff. I throw no shade to even the Ben Affleck stuff. You know, I know a lot of people are just hate on that immediately, and of course there are a lot of fanboys who are like, "Oh, you just said it is the best. I don't care. Marvel zombie drop dead." But like for me, Michael Keaton, you know, he's not. I don't think he's a handsome looking guy in those movies.
No,
but he makes it work so well.
He makes it work.
Matter.
It's like he put it on like a glove.
Yeah.
It's like he just was like, no, I'm this now.
Yeah.
And you believe him.
Yeah, and there's like a chemistry between him and Kim Basinger that is like it's crazy coming out the thing. And not to mention Jack. We haven't even talked about Jack
Nicholson.
Culturally at the time, when this movie was coming out, when I talked to older folks, you know, well, obviously I was but a baby when this movie came out. But, you know, I talked to older folks, like, yeah, this guy was just a comedian.
Yeah.
There was like
Mr.
such
Ball.
low to no expectation that this movie was going to be like
Anything.
I remember at the time,
and that's why people were so freaking blown away.
Yeah, my older brother.
They had no
being
idea that his range could hit this.
That's crazy.
And if you think about it,
doesn't make any sense.
if you think about it, like the Batman that was in everyone's head at the time was Adam West.
Yeah, totally.
So this is the first time we're getting like some you know, more to the comic Batman, as opposed to our swinging 60s. You know, like, sharks repellent, you know, fella. So.
And it was Adam West who.
And no shade towards Adam West.
No, I'm
just saying.
I think it's completely different.
Yes.
From that. It's not like he was just trying to replicate some other performance.
Exactly.
This performance is like what I think of when I think of Batman.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. No, for reals.
Jack Nicholson. Oh my gosh. The Wait Till They Get a Load of Me. The everything. I mean, this has like quotable lines and memorable scenes like almost throughout. And the colors and the Prince music and
oh yeah,
it was like you cannot ignore what's happening here. It was just so alive with new stuff that you hadn't seen or heard of.
Yeah, it definitely rocked the entire world to this day. I don't think the superhero movie would be what it is without this particular film.
Yeah. I really when I watch it again now, I notice all these little details that I know I never would have seen as a kid, like when she opens the box and the hand pops out with the flowers.
Oh, yeah.
And like about his girlfriend, the girlfriend he had before. And he's like, oh, she had an accident. That was something I think Joel and I were talking about when we guested on, or maybe it was, I don't remember where we were talking about it, but we were basically saying no shade at all to Heath Ledger because he was amazing and I really miss him. But we were saying that we actually thought that Jack Nicholson's Joker was scarier to us.
Oh, yeah. No.
Because he seemed capable of anything.
Exactly.
And without trying to terrorize you necessarily, he definitely was, he'd get in your face, but it was like a sociopath. Like, he honestly didn't see repercussions for anything. And and we were saying we found that scarier, that you really didn't know what he was gonna do.
I feel you definitely could get a feel from Heath Ledger's Joker that that he wasn't a good dude.
Yeah.
Whereas I totally agree with you on the unknown aspect of Jack Nicholson's Joker. Like, hey, maybe he won't hurt you. Like, that's a possibility, maybe, you're just, there's no calling what he's going to do next.
Right.
Yeah.
And I feel like he owned that character too.
Oh yeah.
I mean, I think it's funny the way they did the makeup and stuff on him, and I think I got into a debate with Joel about this movie too, about whether or not it was sci-fi or fantasy because of the Joker falling into the chemicals or whatever. Right. And I was like, so, like, is that a science fiction element or is that a fantasy? And when you think about Batman, like, he isn't one of the superheroes that has this, like, special, he doesn't have a power.
Yeah.
Besides just, like, having a bunch of stuff and
incredible athletic ability.
Being able to, yeah.
Yeah.
Joel, weren't we talking about how Joker was scarier for us as Jack Nicholson? I think we had a conversation about that.
Yeah, that was on the 89 minute.
Yeah. Because he really does seem capable of, like, anything.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was saying that Heath Ledger is crazy in that movie.
And great,
but it's a very calculated crazy.
Yeah, exactly.
You could see him, doing bad things. I felt Jack Nicholson's character, you're not entirely sure what he's going to do next, Yeah, it's not,
Like, he's crazy to the point of self-sabotage.
Yeah.
Doing things where it's like, well, that doesn't make any sense if he wants to be the top of the whatever. He just killed this person he needs or something like that. Like,
love that Joker.
It's so good. So good. Tim Burton was just the right director for it. Like, there's so many elements, like Prince soundtrack and all that stuff like that. That whole museum scene.
He's using Brand X.
Is like one of my favorite scenes in all of cinema.
I know. I really love that too. It's kind of nuts.
Yes.
And I think that, Jack Nicholson owned it, so did Michael Keaton. They were just really, they showed up and they did it, like everybody was impressed by their ability to portray Batman and the Joker.
Yeah. You got William Hookins in it for a brief second as
oh yeah.
As they whatever that guy's name is that gets shot in the beginning.
Yeah, the detective.
Yeah. Think about the future, Blam.
Think about it.
Awesome.
You're my number one guy.
Gotham. Gotham.
Yeah, Jack Palance.
Yeah, Palance.
Yeah.
Gotham and his house and Batcave, like, I just feel like this, like, basically was, like, the blueprint. They, like, created a visual way in a movie for people to get an idea of what Batman was. And, it's like, I don't know anything much about the comics. All I know is that I feel totally comfortable with this, character of Bruce Wayne and the whole thing. And I think it still holds up. Despite what my nephew said.
Well, without this movie, or no, let me rephrase that. This movie is what helped, build the animated series as well.
Yeah, basically without, I think it was
the architecture.
Without this movie, who knows what the animated series would have looked
like.
Like, it gave it that whole gothic, like, Batman is a noir hero type thing going on. And he conquers things through fear, and as opposed to like martial arts or whatever. His money, his millions of dollars.
Exactly.
So that was a podcast about Batman 1989. I think we
haven't even picked this as a movie to do yet.
We don't have to anymore. There's
a good amount of money.
We got an hour
content,
right there. Yeah. All right, let's move on. We'll cover it. Obviously, we love it. What's your number 2?
My number 2 is Groundhog Day.
on time.
1,000 people freezing their butts off waiting to worship a rat.
Weatherman Phil Connors is spending the day in Puxatawney, Pennsylvania.
Phil? Ned Ryerson. I did the whistling belly button trick at the high school talent show.
Bing!
Bing!
But Phil's about to find out he's not just stuck in Puxatawney.
Will you be checking out today, Mr. Connors?
Chance of departure today, 100%.
He's stuck.
Nice.
What's that movie about?
I picked it for the podcast previously. Do either of you guys have it higher or the same? Or
I got number 5.
Honorable mention for me.
Yeah. I could go on and on about Groundhog Day. I feel like there is something just perfect about it. And I love the like sarcastic, like humor and the way his character goes from being like basically a selfish person to trying to figure out how to make the most of his time and, reflecting on who he is and why people don't react the way he wants them to. I mean, obviously it's a comedy and a lot of mishaps happen before he gets there, but he eventually comes to the conclusion that he wants to try and do as much good as he can in this one day, if this is the only day he's going to be able to exist in for the rest of time. And I just really love it. I love his character. I love Andie MacDowell in it. I think that she, as a leading lady in this, is like really amazing. Because her character is, she's cautious, but she's definitely like an open-hearted, open-minded person who's kind and like, and willing to give people the benefit of the doubt, but still like, yeah. Anyway, I think her character's awesome in it. And of course, all the other actors that we've mentioned before that were in it, that were so good.
Yeah.
Yeah. I really like this movie too, Sarah. I really like, it's just so fun.
Mm-hmm.
And like, I feel bad, like I'm not being descriptive enough, but like the idea that, he gets all these different chances to try out different scenarios is just such an awesome mechanic for a script from the movie. I really enjoy that.
Yeah.
I never get tired of movies that also copy that or clone that same idea.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't even know what to say. Like it's just like one of the most perfect movies in my opinion.
It was one of the first VHS tapes that I went to another town when I could with my own allowance money and bought myself because I wanted a copy of it. And like, I just think that, I mean, I always really like things that have meaning too, but I mean, we all have fun watching like a crazy action movie here and there, but I mean, part of what I enjoy is when art can have like another meaning too, and I think that this was probably one of my first discoveries when I was young, a movie that I felt like I understood a deeper meaning in it as well.
Yeah, this movie's got action sequences. I mean, that whole truck chase thing.
Oh yeah, totally. Well, yeah. I'm kind of wondering if this might be a crazy situation in a second. Are we on number 1?
Yes, we are.
Okay, Aaron, is it your turn first?
Aaron, what's your number 1?
Breaking all the rules.
Breaking Bad.
Coming at you from 1992. I saw this movie in my friend Jeff's garage, Army of Darkness.
In an age of darkness.
May God have mercy upon your souls. Something's wrong. Something's amiss.
And a time of evil.
You shall die!
When the world needed a hero.
The swallow us souls. I don't want to die!
What it got was him.
Groovy.
You know your shoelace is untied.
He's a 20th century guy.
For that arrogance.
Oh. Oh.
So we're not obviously going to all pick the same number.
I thought we might.
Army of Darkness is on my honorable mentions, though.
I freaking love this movie.
Because it's
changed
great.
my life.
Really?
This movie changed my life.
Tell me how it changed your life.
I
Don't just say it just did. Tell me.
Well, hold on now, okay? I'd never seen any of the Evil Dead movies. This was the first movie of the genre that I saw. The way this movie's structured from the very beginning is just insane. It's from the very beginning, my name is Ash and I am a slave. Like, to to the very ending. I loved how obnoxious the character was. The creature effects in this movie, the cinematography, Sam Raimi's cinematography, Bruce Campbell's amazing acting. I never get tired of the undead skeletons in this movie. It's just perfect.
It almost seems like a genre that I didn't know existed until I started hearing about that. Like, it was like horror, sci-fi fantasy comedy that was like really over the top.
Yeah, I mean it's a horror comedy with the emphasis on like creature effects.
Yeah,
I'm a big fan of the Ash's like obviously he's been chosen to be the hero, but he doesn't want to be the hero, but he's gonna do it anyway. He's like, I'm just not describing it very well. My brain's melted.
Yeah.
But
I mean, Ash is fighting to live, like that's his thing. I don't think he wants to be the hero, but he doesn't want to die, and he does want to save people.
Yeah.
So when he gets thrust into these things, like he's not accident proof, obviously. Like he starts off missing his hand in Army of Darkness.
Yeah.
So but he's vulgar and sexist and.
Oh yeah,
these kind of like 1980s action hero trope kind of thing.
Yeah,
and but off of Bruce Campbell, it's like water off a duck's back. It's just like it doesn't matter. Like Bruce Campbell, serenade me. I love you.
Yeah, I feel like he did things that it almost felt like nobody else could get away with doing. Like the way he acts and the character, it's like it was no sweat. Like that's how it makes it seem, and I feel like
sorry.
Oh, go ahead.
No.
I can't remember anyway.
Oh, I was just gonna say I also just really love the almost Three Stooges effect, like most this movie has.
Oh, those fake shemps, they love the Three Stooges.
I'm about it,
yeah.
And I the idea that this very concept could be a movie, like, just blew me away.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's super, is super creative.
Yep.
Like, I say it's like Phantasm level of creativity and interesting. Like, the difference between this and Phantasm is, like, you don't really, I wouldn't say Reggie Bannister is, like, anywhere near the charming nature of Bruce Campbell, but they have that like fascinatingly like gory otherworldly thing going on. Like there's a mythology that isn't spelled out completely, and it doesn't need to be. We get the kicks we need out of it.
Yeah.
I didn't really watch that much of Ash vs. the Evil Dead. Did you watch much?
I've seen the first 2 seasons. I haven't started the 3rd season yet. I was very disappointed to hear that it was canceled, though.
I'm surprised it lasted more than 1 season.
I was hopeful.
I know it's amazing, but it's just such a it's a
niche.
Horror comedy
it's niche
thing. Like, who's watching it? I guess everyone that loves this stuff.
Well, I mean, not to be a jerk, but I think I wish someone else other than Stars had picked it up.
Oh sure, yeah, no,
I think that might have been the killing blow even before it begun. So,
I mean, Stars has Outlander, Aaron.
I thought that was HBO.
No, that's Stars.
Oh, Outlander's still going.
That's right. That's what Ash vs. the Evil Dead didn't have enough sexy Scotsmen
Well, some details real quick behind Ash vs. Evil Dead. They didn't have the rights to Army of Darkness when they had developed the first season of it. So
what?
Yeah. The rights were all split up. Anyways, but once somewhere around the end of season 1 and when they had begun filming season 2, they did have the rights to Army of Darkness. So then they started making references to it. So it was a bit of a weak start, in my opinion. Right. It was a bit of a weak start because they couldn't just immediately piggyback off of the last movie. So.
That's like almost the same problem that happened with Hannibal. They didn't have the rights to silence.
Really?
Yeah, so they couldn't do basically any reference. They kind of like worked around it by doing a version of the story, but like, you know, no Clarice Starling, no Buffalo Bill.
Yikes, that's difficult.
I mean, yeah, who knows where it would have ended up in season 4, but I mean, that's one of my favorite shows, so I don't know.
Well, as soon as I finish season 3, I'll let you guys know what I thought. But the first 2 seasons, pretty darn fun. That's my top pick.
I like how Bruce Campbell said he's done with the character, but I think he's about to do something like a voiceover thing for a video game or something like that. So
I mean, it's a grand gesture, but yeah, of course he's not going to say no to a paycheck, right?
Absolutely. All right, Sarah?
Number 1.
You want to do number 1 at the same time?
Okay.
Okay, counting down
1,
3, 2, 1.
Princess Bride.
Oh!
I brought you a special present.
What is it? A book?
This is a special book. It was the book my father used to read to me when I was sick, and I used to read it to your father. And today, I'm going to read it to you.
I'll try and stay awake.
Wesley had no money for marriage, so he packed his few belongings and left the farm to seek his fortune across the sea.
Honorable mention for me.
How did that happen?
Because it's an amazing fantasy movie.
Amazing Fantasy number 15.
This is probably
Spider-Man.
One of my favorite fantasy movies, period, ever, if not my absolute favorite.
I mean, it's one of my favorite movies, period.
Yeah. I love this movie so much. Okay, first things first. It starts in reality. There's a kid who's homesick from school.
Your boyfriend.
Played by Fred Savage, who I had a huge crush on at the time. Okay.
I waved him at Comic-Con once.
You did?
Yeah.
Nice.
He waved back.
He waved back.
Nice.
I was a super Wonder Years fan, whatever.
I liked it too.
But, also, in the room with Fred Savage, one of my other favorite people in the world, Peter Falk, who is Columbo, and I am obsessed with Columbo. And so they start off with this story that he's going to read to his grandson. And then you get into this fantasy story, which is just so silly and funny and over the top, and I don't even know. Like,
I mean, this sense of humor throughout
the writing,
the whole thing is just, it's so witty, and it like freaking Mandy Patinkin and
yes,
and
Mandy Patinkin. Andre the Giant.
I don't know what his last name is. I feel bad. Andre the Giant, but like them delivering their freaking lines that just like
Wallace Shawn,
pithy dialogue. Yeah, Wallace Shawn.
Yeah.
And then
Carrie
freaking Chris Sarandon as Humperdinck.
Robin Wright.
And it's not like fantasy with a capital F. Like you can almost see it
fantasy.
As a like if you took out the couple magic references, it could just be like an adventure story from the time. But there is something about the light touch of the magical, you know, what is Billy Crystal's character? Isn't it literally magic whatever his name is. Yeah, I can't remember.
Yeah, I can't remember
And
either.
then, like giants and the machine that...
Right.
What is the name of that guy who directs movies? Who plays the six-fingered man?
Oh, yeah. It's, what's his face? It's, Christopher Guest.
Christopher Guest. So amazing. Like, you could pick out so many performances from this.
The
Robin
costumes,
Wright.
the makeup, yeah.
So good.
Robin Wright.
Like, I want to watch it right now. I could
Yeah.
watch it, like, at least once a week, if not more often than that, and just never get enough.
I've seen it so many times, and I feel like I would never get played out on that movie.
I agree. Princess Bride is definitely a movie that I'll never get tired of.
And yeah, costume choices, awesome. Some of the scenic and backgrounds, like, awesome. And, I love that they kind of break the fourth wall within the storyline a few times, and I love that. I love that it's like, this is a fantasy story, you're immersed in this place with these characters, and then they like come up out of that level into reality again with their own, like, which is kind of funny, because it's kind of like somebody hitting like pause and being like, I don't know if I agree with what's happening here. It's like their own commentary on it. Like, and that makes it funny too.
Totally adds another layer to the movie.
Yeah, and I'm sure everybody has seen this movie, but Carrie Ellis and Robin Wright were just amazing. The chemistry and the romance that is portrayed, you like believe it. And I read that that he was like obsessed with her, like at first sight. Like he was just like, that was the only thing that held his attention after he met her. So I don't know if they were involved with each other. I know she was married to Sean Penn and stuff, but anyway, yeah, I guess that translated that they were like, they hit it off somehow, and that is definitely communicated like in the movie. And kind of a different, like, I mean, I don't even know how to explain this, but it's almost like it was a way to understand love. Like for me as a kid, you like see this different representation of like what a couple or like a guy and a girl, like what their interactions can be like. Like it starts off with him being like this servant, and then he ends up being this like notorious like pirate or whatever. And just the way they talk to each other, it's so well written. I think it's a really well written movie. And the music, I like the music too. I feel like the theme that like carries through the whole movie is really like its own unique theme that I remember. It stands out to me.
Yeah, it's an amazing movie. I don't know what else to say about it. It's another one we haven't done on the podcast yet.
Yeah.
You want to talk honorable mentions?
Sure.
Before we get into that, I do want to mention my number 6, because it, at the very last, when I was making my list, at the very last moment, it got knocked off. My original number 5 was Big from 1988.
Yeah, that's a good one.
I have it on honorable mentions too.
I mean, that's a movie I've seen so many times.
Yeah.
It's like all about the charm of Tom Hanks playing a man with a kid, or a man with a kid trapped in him.
Is that some sort of like Total Recall thing, or like, you know, he opens up his shirt and there's like a kid sticking out of his stomach or something?
It's like Krang.
Oh yeah,
It's like Suspiria.
so not Total Recall, but TMNT. Fair enough.
Yeah. You know, a kid trapped in an adult's body, going through his experiences, and that's just such a good movie. You know. Anyways, Aaron, give me what do you have on your honorable mentions?
Well, let me play this floor mat piano here as I As I talk about my honorable mentions.
That's freaking
Heart and Souls or whatever.
All right.
Chopsticks in the
Who Framed Roger Rabbit?
Oh yeah, that's on my honorable.
Ghostbusters 2.
Nice.
Not even close.
It's all right. Oh, look, I know I get a lot of shit for that, but I do like that movie.
No, it's okay. It's okay.
Ferngully.
Nice.
What? Come on.
Seriously, yeah.
You don't. I mean, come on, Joel.
Were you on that episode?
Don't judge.
I know Joel hates me now.
No,
it was nice.
I don't.
First of all, it was really great being on this podcast, guys.
No.
Don't mind him.
I'm sure my replacement, it might be Jose or whoever they can find.
I'm Batty.
Don't worry. You're good.
It was nice. Hey, thank you, listener Scott, for being awesome and writing in all the time. I'll miss you. I'll miss you the most.
Aaron,
thank
what
you,
else
Joel.
do you have on your list?
Oh, I can continue?
Don't do an exit. Yeah.
Okay, next up I have Excalibur.
Oh, I didn't put that on there. Yeah, that's great.
It's a freaking amazing movie.
Yeah.
I'm not okay. Honest moment for you guys.
Okay.
I was on some costuming auction sites recently.
Really?
Fantasizing about buying sets of armor from this movie.
Okay.
That's awesome.
That's not where I saw that going. I'm glad it didn't.
Oh my gosh. All of the armor in this Excalibur movie is just so epic.
What about Merlin's little cap on his head?
What are you talking about?
He's wearing like a...
I'm wearing it right now. I'm joking.
He's wearing like a metal yarmulke.
Yeah, but he's a wizard.
I don't know.
Man.
He's a dork.
Dorcas. Did I mention The Crow? That's on my list.
That's on my honorable mentions.
Yeah. Obviously, My Neighbor Totoro.
We need to watch The Crow for the podcast.
Yeah,
I feel like Joel is just gonna like throttle me here.
Hey, let him speak.
No, a lot of people like The Crow. It's okay.
I think that's all I got right now.
Oh, that's good.
I wish I had more time to delve deeper into the fantasy films of this era.
You have the rest of your life.
Because, you know, a lot of this, I feel a lot of movies from Princess Bride, obviously, as well. Thanks, guys.
All right, get ready to make fun of my stuff. It's okay.
Yeah, sure.
So, Scrooged is one that I wrote down.
Nice.
I like that one.
Yeah, it's great. Like Bill Murray, fun times, and that's kind of a gross movie too. But I just like that version of the
I figured if I was ever going to go out, Joel, I'd be frozen in the gutter too.
Absolutely, yeah, you definitely would.
Thank you.
Or a fairy would kick you.
Fairy kick me right in the nards. Yeah.
Who Framed Roger Rabbit?
Okay.
Beetlejuice on the list.
Yeah.
Yep.
It's an amazing movie. We covered it. Edward Scissorhands. An Akira Kurosawa movie, Dreams from 1990. It's like a
music video, right? Oh no,
I mean there are parts that seem like a music video. But that's not what I'm talking about.
Oh, sorry, I'm thinking of something else.
No, it's a bunch of vignettes that are all based on dreams that he had and made these like short films about.
Cool.
And there's some that are fun, but there's a lot of like really heavy ones. Like he had a lot of stress about obviously they dropped nuclear bombs on Japan, and so he had related stress to that stuff. And it's his last movie, and it's just a gorgeous, colorful, and very interesting movie. Not my favorite Kurosawa. Probably not even in the top 10, but it is a very good movie. Addams Family.
On my list.
I mean, talk about cultural phenomenons.
Yeah, man.
Talk about a goth moment.
Yeah. That movie is amazing.
It's still amazing. Like, it's still a really good movie.
I remember seeing that in the theater, guys, and just being blown away.
Yeah.
And then I remember the MC Hammer music video and being blown away again.
Oh, man. Can't get away from it.
Yeah, I dressed up as Wednesday, and I had a lot of people tell me I looked like Christina Ricci when I was younger. Yeah.
I could see that.
See it. That's why I started dating Sarah. 2 Disney animated. I got Beauty and the Beast and Aladdin.
Nice.
It's just, a staple when growing up.
Yeah.
Stay tuned.
No.
You like that movie?
I saw that freaking movie in the theater.
That's an Aaron movie. I was surprised it wasn't
An Aaron movie? Is that what I'm defined by now?
Yep, exactly. I mean, this was a movie that was on HBO over and over.
Oh, fair enough.
Couldn't help but see it. And so I just really dig that they were going from world to world in this terrible TV thing, and it's really stupid, but
yeah,
I like it.
Hey, all I gotta say is I wish I could spin a TV remote in my hand just as well as the devil can in this, right?
Mm-hmm.
I saw this in the theater, and I was really scared because I had no idea what was going to happen in it, and there were some things that seemed quite frankly scary for the characters in it.
I mean, they're like essentially trapped in hell. Like, things are trying to kill them all the time. Yeah. But I love John Ritter, so.
Me too.
Mm-hmm.
What can I say? Batman Returns, 92. Not as good as the 89 one, but I still love Batman Returns.
Yep.
Huge crush on Michelle Pfeiffer. Right over here.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, Catwoman I thought was amazing.
Christopher Walken for me. Max Schreck.
Yeah.
Yeah, sexy hair.
Mm-hmm.
Danny DeVito guy.
Oh, yeah, Danny DeVito. He was like onesie.
That was like the grossest Danny DeVito thing ever.
Could be worse. My nose could be gushing blood. No, okay. It was Nightmare Before Christmas. And that's it. So I had a whole bunch of them. I don't really need to talk about Nightmare Before Christmas, right? Henry Selick. Awesome.
My honorable mentions were My Neighbor Totoro, Addams Family, Crow, Beetlejuice, Big, Defending Your Life.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
That's a great movie.
Again, I think that's really cool when they're able to kind of just take something on like a low scale side and turn it into just like a different world or whatever, the afterlife in this scenario.
Yeah.
The only other one I had that I think we haven't talked about, even though I should mention The Crow because I did love that movie, and that was just like a generational thing for us, I think. With Brandon Lee passing away, there was so much,
yeah.
There was a weird thing when that happened that everybody wondered if there was like this curse because of the weird circumstances with Bruce Lee's death. And I really liked that movie Dragon that's about Bruce Lee's life story too. But, The Crow was a moment in the 90s that the soundtrack, everybody knew, the costume, he almost seemed like the Joker portrayed by Heath Ledger, in my opinion.
Yeah.
And he was creepy and, kind of like happy in a creepy way.
Yeah.
But there was something so, I mean, The Crow, say what you will about the movie. It might not be that great of a movie, but I feel like Brandon Lee, like, really ended up being kind of immortal because of that. And it's kind of sad that in that kind of movie that's about what happens to your spirit after death in kind of a dark way in that movie, I feel like it's unfortunate that he also ended his life, like, making it. Anyway, I think the only other thing I had on here was To Die For.
I haven't seen it. I don't know anything about it.
Give me a second. Maybe I haven't. I don't know.
That's
Nicole Kidman.
Nicole Kidman, yeah.
And Joaquin Phoenix. And I think Matt Dillon.
They're all vampires?
No. That's what I was gonna ask. Yeah, if something is in someone's head, like recently I watched
Oh, man.
American Psycho. What would you call American Psycho?
A horror movie.
This movie reminded me of Death Becomes Her, but I think that's going to be on my horror list, though. I would consider that more horror than fantasy.
I think that it depends. Like, I don't consider American Psycho to be a fantasy movie. Now, if somebody, like, say, what's the movie with Kate Winslet and the lady, Melanie Linsky?
Creatures.
Oh,
something.
yeah, Beautiful Creatures or something like that. Amazing Creatures.
Yeah.
Yeah, like they have like fantasy. They like enter a fantasy world, and then it turns out, of course, it's all in their head. I see that this is labeled as fantasy, though. So
yeah, American Psycho was 2000, and I hadn't even seen it until like this year. In this movie, Nicole Kidman is a TV broadcaster on the news. But it's like a very small town, and she wants to be a celebrity, and she kind of becomes obsessed with like getting all the things that she wants. And she meets these two young guys. She seduces them and basically gets them to kill her husband. And yeah, it's an interesting movie. I think it might be Gus Van Sant, I want to say.
Yes, it is. That's what it says.
I think that's probably why I watched it, because I was a super big fan of Good Will Hunting, which is not fantasy at all. But
I mean, how many boy geniuses from South you have had?
That's a fantasy.
I'm just saying.
But Gus Van Sant is awesome. And, yeah, I wanted to watch this because I thought it was going to be interesting, and it sure enough was. So I think maybe we should revisit it. But
sure.
Yeah, since you haven't.
Sounds good to me. Okay, so that's the top 5 sci-fi and fantasy for this period. I think we did a good job. Let's all pat ourselves on the back. Aaron had to run away because the police are after him. Or did he get sucked into a fantasy world? It's too late. The police already got him. But, yeah, well, returning to regular programming next week. So, if you are bored to death by these episodes, first of all,
they're bonuses.
Thank you for listening anyways.
We're happy. We've done 150.
Yeah. Thank you for sticking around with us.
Thanks for listening.
And I hope that you will continue to enjoy the show.
Yeah. Thanks, guys.
See you next time. Bye.
All right.
EarTrumpetAudio.com.
Ideas and entertainment.
Loud and clear.